anxiety and depression are two really debilitating mental disorders, and I'm no expert, but there are definitely, studies that have been shown that, yeah, like being active in a spiritual community and just like being active in a community in general. I agree so much with what you guys were saying about how it's a societal problem more than anything else. Like the rise of incidences isn't due to like our biochemistry having changed in the last 50 years. It's because the society we live in now doesn't allow for our interactions to be the same. With the globalization and everyone moving to cities where you walk around with an anonymity and you see maybe 2 friendly faces a day, like how can you be happy with something like that when you're expected to do things that you might not care about or you might not like? It's so intertwined with all of these values that even if you as a person don't believe in capitalism, don't think it's the right way to proceed, like what are your options? So I think, yeah, like the disappearance of community and like social interaction through technology and all of these other kind of things that are shifting the world we live in. Like our bodies were made for the way we live, like outside, like nomadic people hunting and gathering, and we just live so far from that now but our bodies and our brains aren't able to catch up.
I think instead of focusing on secularism, I'd like to focus on the capital system, and not as an economic system, but rather as like a monopolizing force on culture and society and everything, right? So when we dedicate ourselves to capitalism and the main goal is profit, we're no longer humans, but we're laborers and we're consumers. I think one of the reasons that we experience this kind of the surge in depression and anxiety and even like symptoms, subclinical symptoms of those in students and in many other people is because the spiritual aspect from our society is kind of lost, right? We're not treating people, it's not like we're capitalist in economy, but as humans we're spiritual and we're religious and we're communal and we care about each other, right? I think in many ways in the larger society, we are capitalist in our culture as well.
I think that stress, anxiety, and depression, we all experience it. The people, as to whether be spiritual or not spiritual, they experience it. However, the difference is that the people who have a spiritual perspective, they are able to accept it and to find a meaning for that, a purpose for that. Whenever we find a meaning in whatever crisis we are, that would alleviate our tension and become aware of that, and therefore is not anymore suffering. As Viktor Frankl says, he says that suffer ceases to be suffering when it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of sacrifice. So having said that, there is volumes of literature trying to find out religion and spirituality has anything to do or what effect it has on depression, on anxiety, on substance abuse and so forth. There is a volume of material available now that says that religiosity and spirituality that does have effect on the patient population. For example, in one study of 100 studies done, other studies, they found that 80% of them showed that there is a beneficial effect on religious and spiritual perspective because it gives a sense of hope and optimism and meaning to life, and therefore they are able to handle it better as compared to a person who doesn't have this kind of protective factor.